concept as well as. And we will start with the internet first of all. So you should go for the history of the internet to see, like, earlier days, internet was developed and used by the Department of Defense America. On that time, it was known as, before that it was for only for the research, that is ARPANET. Okay, so in earlier days the internet was known as the ARPANET. Okay, and then Department of Defense used it, and then on that time it was known as the DARPANET. When then the people found this thing good for the public, then they make it public, and then now onward it is known as the internet. Okay, as I told you earlier in our first session, there are two type of networks. We have public network and private network. Okay, private network, and other one is public network. Okay, so we need to have the awareness about that, as well as the within the organization, if we have a kind of a network, that is a private network. Okay, within an organization, within a home, within a house, you have a Wi-Fi network within your home, that is a private network. But whenever you are connecting to the internet, means obviously, or like if you want the internet access, you will connect those private network to the internet. Okay, so then that would be a public network. Okay, means you are communicating the private network over through the public network. The internet is the example of public network. Always remember that. Private network is something that is accessible within you, within your family, within your premise, within your colleagues, within your office, within your organization. Okay, private network is something that is available for all. Okay, like each and every person is equal. Okay, and that is why there are security threats are available. Okay, because internet is open for all. Okay, so like each and every person, if a person is like you and me, we are like a regular user, we have the equal access. And similarly, the hackers and the bad elements have the same access. That is why internet is unsafe. Okay, so that is why we need to have that security. We need to have, and why we are learning here the cybersecurity. This is the only reason. Okay, because we need to secure the networks, we need to secure the channels over through the internet. Okay, so that is our job. Okay, so we need to understand these things. Now, few myths about the internet. Like people thinks like internet is a kind of a it's something like a tap running with the water. It is not like that exactly. See, what exactly is internet? Like how internet builds itself actually. See, it's nothing. It's a combination of smaller networks. Okay, so the collection of small networks, that is actually internet. Like you have your own router at your place. I have my own. We are connecting through our ISPs. They have their own routers. They have their nodes. These nodes are connected to each other like this, and that creates this kind of architecture. Create the internet. Okay, so internet not is a kind of object or something like that. So don't think too much like about this. People thinks like internet is a kind of a object, or like we are accessing something from it is not. Like source is also not fixed. Everything is not fixed here in the internet. Okay, and it is accessible for all basically. Okay, so that is the idea about internet. And who is responsible for providing this service? Obviously the ISP, internet service providers. Without ISP, generally we will not get the access of internet, right? So see, sometime like we are paying for our connection. Like let's say you are paying something like 1200 USD or bucks to the internet connection or something like that. Like what it is exactly, like why we are paying this? Actually, we are not paying for the internet exactly. Okay, we are paying for this architecture which have been created by the ISPs. Okay, the development and all that stuff actually, because internet is not kind of a like object, as I told you. Okay, so it is a kind of a service. Basically, we are paying the service fee. So we are paying leads for this kind of the architecture, as well as the second thing is that is about IP address. Okay, so without IP address, internet access is not possible. Okay, so whenever you are using internet, actually you are opting an IP address, and that is provided by your ISP. Okay, so we are paying lease for that particular IP address because IPs are also a kind of a paid services or paid asset basically. Okay, so we will get whenever you are using internet connection, actually you are paying for the lease of that particular IP address. Okay, so that is the idea. Now, it's like how we are globally connected. For that, I can give you an overview and let me show you something. The entire globe, the entire world is, one second. The entire globe is, connecting, through like this. You can see that it's a submarine cable map. Okay, so the entire, countries are connecting to each other with these kind of fiber optic cables. Okay, this is the actual one. Okay, it's not a kind of a, only for not for the demonstration. It's the actual. These are the actual links actually. So this is how basically internet builds. Okay. And now who develop these kind of architecture? Obviously the ISPs, sometimes the governments, or something there, sometimes there are like, public private partnership and something like that. Okay. The cloud services, they provided these kind of a link because at as, if you think at as, at individual level, that is not feasible to create these kind of a link. Okay. But so that is why, we uses the ISPs for, for the services. Okay. And it's a kind of a long distance communication. You can see that. Okay, till the Arctic oceans, like we have the connectivity, you can see that, right? So the like we have the edge to edge connectivity within the globe. Okay, so that is all about the internet. Okay, so internet is something that is, yeah, it's mysterious, but yes, it's something that is very very important for us. Okay, so with the help of internet, like we are able to communicate with the, communicate with the, from one place to another place. Like, right now you are at different geographical location. I am at different location, and it's a kind of a long distance communication, but without any delay or, without any, jitter, we are able to communicate with each other. So that is why internet is something that is very, very important. And, these kind of a links are actually of fiber optic. Okay, so the long distance communication requires the zero latency and the faster convergence. That is why the ISPs uses the fiber optic link for these kind of a communication. Okay, so we need to have little bit awareness about these kind of a communication because, we need to deal with these things, so that we need to have at least basic awareness, like how things are working around us. Okay, that is something very very important. Is it clear?
Clear, clear.
uh, Okay, well, so yes, like what exactly is networking? It's about the connection of nodes. Like, whenever you're connecting two or more nodes over through a media, that is called the networking. Okay, so the networking is around us. Okay, we are able to communicate with each other due to network. Okay, I have my own private network. You have your own private network, and with the help of ISPs, we are able to communicate with each other. Means we have our own private networks, and with the help of ISPs, with the help of public network, we are able to communicate with each other. Okay, so that is called the network. Now, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of networking? See, there are so many things, like, it's something, there are so many reasons for establishing a network, but the major cause of establishing a network is for the purpose of resource sharing. Okay. With the help of networks, we are able to share the resources. Like, right now I'm sharing resources with you, maybe my screen, my voice data and everything. Okay. So the major purpose is of networking is resource sharing. Sometimes people says it's for only for the communication, but communication is not a major objective of networking. Always remember that. It's a kind of an inbuilt feature. It's a kind of an inbuilt feature. Means whenever you are establishing a network, the communication channel will be established automatically. Okay, so it is not a major reason for having the networking. Okay, the major reason is resource sharing. What is resource sharing? Like you are able to download your favorite movies within your laptop through the internet, right? You're able to download your or access or stream your, your favorite music. That is due to the networking. It's about the resource sharing actually. Okay, it's not only about the communication. Okay, so the major task of network and the major objective of the network is resource share. Okay, so what are the basic components like of a network? It's something like if you want to establish a network, what you require is at least you require minimum two hosts. Okay, at least there should be two peoples. A single people, a single person, can't create a network, right? So at least we required at least two hosts. Okay, at least one host should have a message. Okay, so one host should have a kind of a message to deliver to the other person. Okay, then what we need, that is something very important. It's about the communication channel. Okay, so we need to have something between us, something a kind of a platform through which we can communicate with each other. We can share the data over through that particular media. That media is known as the communication channel. Like right at your home, like you are at wireless media, you are using the wireless media, right? Because you are connected to the Wi-Fi router. Okay, in the offices we have the connection with the LAN cables. That is a kind of a wired channel, a wired media. Okay, so that particular thing is known as the communication channel. Okay, and the fourth component of a network is that is a protocol. Okay, what do you understand with the protocol events?
How can I define protocol?
Mhm. In your words.
Protocol would be like I don't know how to put it.
Mhm.
Like the method in which the network a
Exactly,
network
it's a
is
kind of a
connected.
method. Yes, it's a kind of a method. You're right. See, what events protocol is exactly? It's a kind of a communication method. Okay. See, there is a kind of a certain process of any, each and every kind of a communication. Like, there is a way of talking with your parents. Okay. There is a way of talking with your friends. Okay. You talk your friend with, a little bit casually, not with the parents, right? You have a different method of talking with your siblings. You have your, different method of communication with your spouse. Okay. So like with your teachers, you have different method. Okay, now what it is exactly? It's a kind of a process. It is kind of a procedure or like a kind of a protocol. Okay, so that is
Mhm.
called the protocol. Protocol is nothing, Gibbons. Protocol is a kind of a set of rules. Okay, these are the set of rules that govern how communication will take place in the networking. Okay, so there are different kind of a communications are available in the network. Okay, so that the process or the procedure of that communication will be known as the protocol. Okay, so that is the protocol. There are some categories also, and we need to, because we are in this field, we need to have over clarification on the protocol. Always remember that. Okay, like that's why I'm giving you this overview, because we need to understand the protocols whenever you will perform any kind of a cybersecurity analysis or something like securing the channels. Maybe you will overview the logs, the network logs. You will get the protocol names there. Okay, so you need to understand the type of communication. You need to understand the type of protocol. That is something very very important. So protocol is something that is very very important for us here. Okay, I hope you have heard about the TCP/IP.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, so we need to have a good knowledge of TCP/IP whenever you will apply for the job, even in the cybersecurity field. See, you will see in the JD, the job description. If you will follow that JD, you will find a good, must have a good knowledge in TCP/IP protocol suite. Okay, so that is why I'm insisting you for the protocols. You must have a good knowledge, a good, like conceptual knowledge on the protocol. Okay, so we will escalate it later on, as well as we will learn about the protocols more later on. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, now objectives of networking. So as I told you, like there are so many objectives are available, but the prior is that is the resource sharing. Okay, why we are establishing the network? It's for the resource sharing. Resource could be anything, like what we can share within the network. It could be a device. Okay, it could be a hardware. It could be a software solution. It could be a storage device. It could be anything basically. Okay, it could be information. It could be data. It could be asset or anything. So the prior job or the prior objective of networking is resource sharing. Okay, one, and with the help of resource sharing, actually we built a good architecture, good structure, network structure. With the help of that, we will grab the cost cutting. This is the second objective of networking. With the help of networking, actually, we generally cuts the cost for the businesses. Okay, that is why businesses uses the the networking. Just think about it. Let's say we have two branches, one in California, second is here in Delhi, and like for communication, if we will use postal, just think about it, how much expensive it is. Like we are sharing the documentation with the post, with the old method, that is the postal, and it will
Mm-hmm.
take too much time. Also, it will take expenses also, and the delay in the delivery is the other thing. But with the help of networking, instantly we can share the files, we can share the data, we can share the applications, we can share everything, the real time communication. Okay, so that is why it brings cost cutting as well as. And if you are sharing the resources, means where like if there is no networking, you will use, let's say, 10 same resources. But if you have networking, you can use a single resource within the entire network. Okay, so that is why it will help you in cost cutting as well as. Okay. Second thing is the next thing is that is the performance improvement. Yes, it brings the performance improvement as well as you can use your asset excessively, like like optimization. Performance improvement is something like optimization. Optimization is something even using an asset at its best level. Okay, so like if any asset can give 100%, if with the help of networking, you will able to use that asset at this level. Okay, so that is something very, very important. Okay, and then the communication channel come. As I told you, it is not a prior thing, actually. It comes automatically. It's an inbuilt feature of networking. So you will get a communication channel as well as. With the help of that, like, you can communicate. You just need to have IP phones within your premise. You need to have some tools like Skype or Google Meet or something like that. And with the help of that, you can communicate with your partners, even you have the long distance. Right. So you can make a video conferencing, you can make voice calls, and you can share your files or whatever you want. Okay, so networking brings the communication channel as well as. Okay, and then we have the next point, that is the high reliability. High reliability is something that is having redundancy on the network. Okay, so that is why in organization generally we used to prefer multiple connections. Like we will not dependent on a single asset, because that in IT, and we discussed it in the previous session as well as, the hardware can fail anytime. It's not in our hand, basically. Okay, it's not a cup of our green tea. Okay, so yeah, they can bother us anytime. So that is why we should have the redundant always. And this is the basic rule of networking, actually. We must have the redundant as well as, means if one goes down, we should have the alternate. Okay, so high reliability is something that is having alternate for the problems. Okay, like in the offices, you can see that there is within a premise, within a floor even, there is a single printer can be shared for all the users. But just think about it, if that single printer goes down, the entire work will be stuck, isn't it?
It's true.
So what usually people do there, they never share a single printer. They share two printers. If one goes down, we must have the other alternate. Okay. So that is called the high reliability. On that high reliability feature is always possible with the networking. Okay. So that is the another job. And the last thing, last but not the least, that is the remote access. Remote access is something that is very, very important. What do you understand with the remote access, Evans?
Remote access to the network. Yes.
Yeah, it means what do you understand in general manner? What is remote access? Have you ever used this feature?
Yeah, yeah. Remote access means be able to connect to the network without cables, without connecting to.
No, 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 no. That is only about the connect. That is only the connectivity. That is only the network. But what is remote? Remote is something that is far, and
Yeah, yeah,
access.
yeah. It's connecting to something that is not
Uh-huh.
close by that you cannot touch.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Exactly. Okay. No. Fine. Partially, it is fine. Okay. Have you ever used tools like AnyDesk, TeamViewer,
Yes.
AnyDesk, or TeamViewer? Yes.
Yeah.
What they are? They are remote access tools, man. Okay, with the help of like TeamViewer or AnyDesk, you can take the remote access of computer system. Okay, but they should available on the internet, and you can take the remote. Doesn't matter how far they are. Correct. So that is called the remote access. With the help of remote access, actually, we can grab the others machines access, and we can manage them as well as with their permission. Okay, so that is called the remote access. So the networking is providing us that. Without networking, it is not feasible. It is not possible to access your, your machine or something like that. Okay, so for that purpose, we required the remote access. Okay, that is the point. Okay, so remote access, like, that is only for the see, team viewer or the AnyDesk, AMI admin, these kind of a tools. With the help of these kind of a tool, you only can take access of the computer machine, right?
Yeah.
But there are some protocols, are certain protocols are available. With the help of that, we can access the other the devices, like networking devices, like firewalls, switches, routers. There are so many protocols available, like Telnet. We have SSH. We have R login. We have RDP. With the help of these protocols, actually, we can grab the access of remote machine as well as, and doesn't matter how far they are. Okay, so these features are only possible with the networking. Okay, so these are some key objectives or key, areas, what networking is providing us. Okay,
Yeah.
is there any query, or is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, okay. I'm moving a little bit faster because I know that few things earlier. So that is why I'm moving a little bit faster. Okay. But if
Yeah,
you're stuck with something, yeah, if you found something, you can ask me. You can interrupt me and ask me. Okay. So you just need to ask me for if you have any kind of a doubt. Okay. Fundamental characteristics of data communication networking is, what means, which are the major points where we focus whenever we are connecting towards with the help of the network. So these are some points. First one is delivery. Okay, it is something that is very, very important. Like, obviously, if I want to send something to you, it should be delivered, right? So delivery is something that is prior. Okay. Second thing is accuracy. Accuracy means whatever I have sent to you, it should be received as it is by you. Correct. That is something related to the integrity of the data. Okay. So whatever I am sharing, it should be received as it is to you. Okay. Then we have the timeliness. Okay. Now, what is the timeliness? It's about, like, everything, every communication should be between the timeline. Okay, like, what it does it mean? Let's say I'm sending something you, or I am speaking right now. I just think about it. Whatever I am saying, if you will heard it after 5 minutes, what will happen? You will not understand.
yeah, not good.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that is not good, and everything will be messed up. Correct. So your timeline is something that is very, very important. Means the communication should be on the proper time. Okay, that is the idea. And last thing is that is the jitterness. Jitter is something that is very, very important. And it's a very biggest issue, even like globally. We are having the digitalization. Everything is on internet. Even our documentation, our detail, and everything. Governments are running on that, but there is a problem of jitter that is still it is processed. Like, we have the 4G, 5G, and sixth generation as well as, and testing is going so on. But even though there are some issues of the jitterness, what exactly jitterness is actually, it is something like, let's say, sometimes internet is good, it's working properly, and sometimes it goes down. Okay, means if you are checking the speed of the internet connection, it's more than 100 Mbps. But whenever you are sharing the data, it will be stuck sometime. Okay, that is called the jitterness. Jitterness is something that is an uncertainty in the net. Okay,
Okay.
so that is the idea. So these are the four fundamental characteristics. Means generally we focus on this. Means we can't, let them go. These things, actually, we need to ensure these things in a good manner. Okay, that is the idea. Now let's move to the protocols. Okay, as I told you, protocols are something that is very, very important. Okay, and why we need to understand, like, whenever you will grab the network traffic, here's the tool, Wireshark. I hope you are aware about it. Let me open this. So you can see that, whenever you will inspect any kind of a network traffic, whenever you will get any kind of a network logs, you will get these protocols here. So you need to have the awareness, like what protocol it is, why we use this protocol and everything. Not more than so much, but we need to understand the protocols and port numbers and the uses of particular that uses with the properties of that particular protocol. Okay. So as I told you, events like protocols are certainly like they are certain rules, they are kind of a set of rules that governs how communication will take place. Okay, how communication will take place between two machines, two hosts. Okay, and in major part we have two type of protocol. One is called the connection oriented, and second one is known as the connection less oriented. Okay, these are the only two categories. Okay. um for protocols, like, yeah, we will discuss it later on. Like, we usually use the protocol suite that is named as TCP/IP. We follow that protocol suite. That is a kind of a protocol suite or a stack, where there are, more than 65,000 protocols are available there. Okay, so we use this TCP/IP. So we will understand the categories, the connection oriented and connection less oriented. First of all, we need to understand the difference between them. Okay. For that purpose, I'm giving you an example, and I'm taking you to the whiteboard. Let me erase. See, we have connection oriented, and the second one we have the connection less oriented. Okay. Now, what is the point? Connection oriented. See, generally, let's say here's the source and here's the destination. Okay. And obviously, whenever you will move to the network, there are so many ways out. Always remember that. Networking is not like that, actually. There are so many ways. It is just like you are going to somewhere at your, at your office or somewhere else, basically. There are so many ways are available. Okay. So what do you usually do when you are living from your home and you want to reach out somewhere, maybe at your friend's home, and you have 10 ways? You generally think two, three things, major things, where you will find less traffic, how roads are, they are good or not. Okay. And what is the shortest path? Generally we usually follows
Yeah,
the shortest path. Correct. So
correct.
these are some objectives we usually follow. Okay, so that is the idea. So see, let's say you want to, if you are using the connection oriented protocol, or what I usually call it, basically, you know it is something. uh, let's say, consider this guy is a speed biker. Okay, so what he will do before leaving, he will decide the path first. Like, he will follow this path in this manner. It could be his own calculation, maybe less traffic, good roads, and means he have his own reasons. Okay, so he will decide some particular route. And now, if he is following the connection oriented, what he will do, he will follow the same path for communication. What does it mean? He will move towards like this and reach to the destination. And if he want to come back, he will follow the same path like this. So connection oriented protocol follows the same path for communication. This is the first point. Okay, once. And the best thing, they are reliable. First thing is that they uses the same path. And second is they are reliable. Why they are reliable? Because they provide the acknowledgement of data delivery. Means when the host will reach here, or the data packet will reach here, they will send, the recipient will send the acknowledgement that I have received the data. So that is why connection oriented are very popular, very secure, and they are reliable. Okay. But in the case of connection less oriented, actually, they are not reliable. First thing is that they will not follow the same path for communication. No. they follows the path where less traffic forms. So they have their own objective. Events. They follows the path where less traffic is. They will leave and they found here is less traffic, like this, and reach. Second thing is they are not reliable. Why they are not reliable? Because after reaching here, they will not send any kind of acknowledgement. No acknowledgement. So not reliable. No X. Okay. So this is the difference between connection oriented and connectionless oriented. Now, if I will ask you, I have a question for you, Evans. Like,
Yeah.
which protocol you want to follow for the communication?
You want to follow the connection oriented?
Connection oriented. And what is the reason behind that? If I ask you for the
Yeah,
reason,
because this is reliable.
it is reliable. Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And why not connectionless oriented? Like if we are learning this, I think it is something that is important. You don't think so? Like
Yeah,
if we are
connectionless.
learning something.
Yeah,
Mhm,
connectionless. Say that it's not reliable. Like if you send a package, you don't get acknowledgement
mhm.
if it's received or not.
Yes, okay. So what do you think? Like we never used connection oriented or connectionless oriented?
Yeah, well, that would depend on the kind of
Mhm.
package you're sending. Not every package you're sending that you require.
Exactly, exactly. That is the answer. What exactly I want from you. This is the answer actually. See, if you are learning something, definitely it is something very, very important. Right. So, like, we can't say, like, you say it, but they never answer like this in the interviews. Like, if someone is asking which protocol will be used, okay, never answer like that. You will use connection oriented. Okay. Like, it's a kind of a discrimination.
Yeah.
Okay. Always answer like, whatever you answered me the second time. You said it depends on the type of communication. Always answer like that. Okay,
Okay.
never dominant with the connection oriented. It's not like that. You will not believe right now whatever communication is going on between you and me, it is through the connection less oriented. Okay,
Yeah.
just think about it. Our class is going with the connection less oriented right now. Okay, and I can show you. Here's the Wireshark. Look at the protocol. It's a UDP map, user datagram protocol, and UDP is actually connection less oriented. And the major part is of UDP. You can see that.
Uh-huh.
Look at here. So the entire class is going with the UDP, connectionless oriented. Just think about it. Why we are using UDP here? Class is not important. It is not like that. See, always remember the selection of protocol is totally dependent on the property of connection, a type of connection, or type of communication. Okay, so both are important. You can't generalize, like, I will follow the connection oriented because it is reliable. It is not like that. Okay, so in the sometime, even the major part we uses the connection less oriented, and even we think, sometimes we do not think too much about that, and we do not bother about that like a user. But yes, most of the time we are using the connection. In the real time world, according to me, we are using less connection. The general user generally uses less connection oriented. The general users are usually use the connection less oriented, and I can give you the proof of that. Okay. Okay, before that, let me explain once again the connection oriented and connection less oriented. Now, connection oriented, these type of protocols follows the same path for data transfer. Okay, once, and these protocols are much reliable because they provide the acknowledgement of data transfer. Okay. Now, the example of connection oriented are TCP, SPX, and AppleTalk datagram. Obviously, we use a TCP IP protocol suite. So if we are using TCP, that is actually connection oriented. Okay, once. And SPX is generally used by the Linux platform. AppleTalk Datagram is used by the Apple iOS. Okay, they have their own protocols. So these are the connection oriented protocol. Means these protocols are reliable. Okay. Second is connection less oriented. These type of protocol do not follow the same path. They follow the path where less traffic is found. Okay. These protocols are non-reliable because they don't give the acknowledgement for data transfer. And what are the example? Examples are IP, UDP, and AppleTalk. And you can see that whatever traffic right now is moving is with the help of UDP. We can see that with the help of Wireshark, correct?
Uh-huh.
So, means there is something that is very, very significant about the connectionless orientation. Why we are following this? Okay. See, if I ask you, I'm taking you to the whiteboard. If I ask you which protocol is reliable, what will be your answer? Connection oriented or connectionless oriented? Which will be reliable?
Um, you said connection is reliable.
Oh,
As
yes, connection oriented is reliable. Your answer is right. Okay, I'm checking you again. If I ask you what protocol, which of them will be the faster? What do you think?
the one that is connectionless oriented, like the UDP.
Exactly, exactly. So see, the every protocol, every type of protocol have their own properties, some specific one. See, connection oriented are reliable, but they are little bit slow because of the process. Because see, before the communication, first the source will think about the route. Okay, he will fix the route. Then after he will start the communication. After reaching the destination, the particular communication will send the acknowledgement. So, buddy, it will take too much time. Okay, as comparison of UDP, what UDP is doing, why it is faster? Because they are not following the same path. They are not deciding any path. They will follow the path where less traffic is found, and the only objective is to reach at the destination as faster as possible
Yeah.
without bothering the formalities. Okay, they are not bothering formalities. They're just moving. Correct. And the second thing is that there is no acknowledgement, so they are not in formalities. That is why they are faster. Okay, so connectionless protocols, the connectionless oriented protocols are faster. Maybe they are not reliable, but they are faster. Okay, but connection oriented are reliable. Now, I'm giving you two. I have one more question for you. Okay, and now you need to answer me after going with this topic.
Okay.
Let's say there is a kind of a banking transaction. Okay, you want to send some money to your friend, your relatives. What do you think? Which protocol should be used?
You want the money to get there fast as possible, so you want to use a connectionless.
No, no, no. I just you see there is a problem. Okay, it,
Okay.
it is as fast as possible, but see, there is less security, man. Because connection, see, in the connectionless protocol, there is a problem. They do not provide the acknowledgement. Means you will never come to know the money has been received or not. Is it okay?
Get it.
Correct? That is not a valid thing. Right? Means you should get the acknowledgement of money transfer, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should have a kind of acknowledgement number or receipt number, like the money has been sent or credited into the beneficiary's account. So, buddy, on that case, basically, connection oriented are superior. We should use for these kind of a financial transaction or these kind of a communication. We should go with the reliable communication. That is actually connection oriented. Correct.
So what?
Okay, because speed could be little lesser. Okay, let me complete. Speed could be little lesser, but reliability is something very important in financial transaction, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, that is the point. Yeah. Now you are saying something. Yeah, tell me.
I was asking if you like an example of sending money. Do you when you try to send data online, like with like connectionless
Yeah,
or
yeah. I'm
connection,
asking
you
online.
don't
Yeah, online through the banking.
do
Yeah,
you
through the
choose?
banking, through the net banking and all,
That's why I
net
say
banking and all. Yes.
the person who is sending you cannot determine which connection you want, right? It's automatic.
Yeah, I said what connection should be
Mhm.
preferred by that banking website. Let's say you are
Yeah.
a banking vendor. Which connection? See, if you are using the connection less oriented, that is less secure, man. There is no
Uh,
acknowledgement. Right. So that is not okay for the banking transaction, for the financial transaction. For the financial transaction, generally we follows the connection oriented because reliability is something, yeah, maybe it is. See, I said slower, but it is not as slow. You are thinking actually.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is slower as comparison of connection less oriented. Okay. It is not slower too much, basically. Okay. So because in these kind of a transaction, the speed doesn't matter. The reliability matters in the financial transaction. Okay. So that is why we follows connection oriented. But let's say if I am saying there is a kind of a video conferencing. or we have a video call, or we have a kind of a voice call, which protocol we should use?
Uh, then you want little or no latency, so you want to use a connectionless. You prefer
Exactly.
you
That
prefer
is the
the
point.
connectionless.
Yes. Now you understood. Man, that is why UDP is here. Correct.
Yeah.
See, normally in the real time data communication, these kind of a communication, real buffer communication, like, the voice calls, the video conferencing and all, or the gaming as well as, you don't want any kind of a latency. You don't want any kind of a jitterness. So that is why we require the higher speed, the faster convergence. So that is why Ibns we uses connection less oriented here. Okay. And see, means whatever I am saying, just think about it. If we are using connection oriented, and I am saying something and you will get it after 30 seconds, is it meaningful? Just think about it.
No,
Whatever I am
no,
saying, and you will get it after 30 seconds. Is
no,
it okay?
no,
It
no,
is
we
not
do.
acceptable. Right. It's a kind of a live streaming. We should cross each other. You can interrupt me. I can interrupt you. I can say something. You can say something. It's a kind of a real time communication. For real time communication, for the VoIP data, for the video conferencing, actually we follow the connection less oriented. And that is why I said normal users usually use connection less oriented. And they even don't know, because they mostly normal users, what they do with the internet, they are using the VoIP calls, voice calls, they are doing the video calls and all. Correct. So that is the idea. Okay, so this is the difference between connection oriented and connection less oriented. So always remember that, where security is priority, where the data integrity is priority, we will use the connection oriented, like banking transaction or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
if we want the speed is the prior, the communication speed is the prior, that is actually on that time we will use the connectionless oriented. Okay. The only problem with the connection oriented is about the acknowledgement actually. Okay. The only challenge is acknowledgement, but it is overcome automatically. Now how? Let me tell you. See, in connection oriented, obviously the data delivery acknowledgement will be received and connection is completed. Correct. That is the point. But see, in connection oriented, maybe there is a possibility the packet will get dropped. Let's say I said something and packet reached at a point and it got dropped. So what will happen? Obviously, it's a real time data. You will not hear it, what I said.
Yeah,
That is the point. Correct. So
correct,
see, because there are live persons, live humans are available. You can recheck with me, na? You can say, sir, I didn't get you. Could you please come again? Correct.
correct.
That is why we follow this protocol in this kind of a communication. See, on a phone call, know that on a phone call, it's a normal thing. Sometimes you get the voice breakage. Sometimes you got the voice is totally dropped. You can say to your friend, could you please come again? I didn't hear you. Correct. So because
Correct.
of there is a possibility of retrieving data, that is why we use this connectionless oriented here. But that possibility is not possible with the connection oriented actually. Okay. So that is the idea. Okay. Is it clear, or is there any query related to this, Evans?
No, it's clear. Clear. Good.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, you need to understand, you need to have good knowledge between the protocols. Okay. Why we are using, like in interviews, actually, people can ask these kind of question, like why we are using this kind of communication here. So right now, like we have the wipe over the radio frequency, as well as like in the 4G network, in the 4G, in the 5G, fifth generation. I'm talking about the mobile networks. Okay. Within that, right now, whatever calling we are doing, that is not through the radio frequency actually. This is through the internet. These are the VoIP calls. Okay. And they are also using the UDP actually during the communication. Okay. So that is the idea. So this is the difference between connectionless and connection oriented. Now, one more thing. For better knowledge, what you can do, difference between TCP. I'm sharing web link with you. There is a difference between TCP and UDP. See, as I told you, we uses the protocol stack that is TCP, UDP, TCP IP. Okay, so TCP stand for Transmission Control Protocol, UDP stand for User Datagram Protocol. Okay, so what is the difference? So this is a kind of article you should go through of that. Okay, just check it out after the class, and you will get a table here, and just try to learn each and every point. Just try to read. Okay, so you
Okay.
will get better knowledge and better edge within that. Okay, so I'm sharing this link with you on the WhatsApp within our group. Just follow this link, you will get the better knowledge. Okay,
Yeah, thank
and
you.
yeah, and a little bit about the few things, because it's only for the knowledge. See, because the relevance is something very very important. Always remember that. Okay, relevance is something that is very very important. It's not about the remembering anything. It is not like that. It is only for the understanding of the things. Okay, you just need
Yeah,
to understand the things, like what it is exactly, how this thing is working. Like, even if we don't know the process, like how things are going on around us, how we can secure that. Just think about it, Evans, isn't it? So we need to understand the things. That is the idea. Okay,
yeah,
uh few more things. Difference between mm, different link. See, best thing about learning about the concepts is internet. Even especially in the field of networking and cybersecurity. For whenever there is always a doubt. Frankly speaking, even I have experience, but new things are coming actually. Even so, sometime you will get a new thing you heard from your friend or colleague. So, or you think, oh, I don't know about it. So just check with the internet always. It is good to use internet during the learning as well as. Okay, so that is something very very important. One more article I want to recommend you, that is actually, that is the, you should learn about little bit about the TCP IP model, because we follow this thing. Okay, so we need to have the differences and the knowledge of TCP IP as well. Okay, it is something that is very very important. So you should go with this article as well. Okay, see, I can deep dive in within that, but because that is not our major job, that is why I'm you know letting
yeah,
it on you. Just check them out, and it's not about too hectic. You just need to go through of that. Yes, if you found anything malicious, if you found anything doubtful, yeah, come to me, I will elaborate everything to you. Okay, if you found anything wrong or you will not understand anything, just ask me within in the next session. Okay. So this is the job. See, whenever you will see a website, uh obviously you will see this kind of a lock sign, right? So
yeah.
what do you understand with this? What this lock represents?
That means
What is
it's a secure communication or
exactly?
encrypt or
It
encrypt.
reflects the SSL, secure socket layer.
Yeah,
Correct. Even the see, we are using the entire communication. As I told you, our entire communication is going through the UDP. I said that connectionless oriented. Even
yeah,
though, if you check the link, what we are using of the Google Meet, that has
secure.
the lock sign as well as, actually it is UDP, but over through the TCP. Okay, it is not unsecure. Okay, for convergence, it is using the UDP, but for reliability, it is using the TCP. This log sign actually reflects Okay, I should not use on this. I should go with the second one. Yeah, this log sign actually reflects the SSL, that is called the secure socket layer. It also reflects the protocol, that is HTTPS. Basically,
Yeah.
there are two major protocols, EBONs. One is HTTP and one is HTTPS for accessing the websites or web pages. Okay, there are two major protocols, HTTP and HTTPS. HTTP is a basic protocol which uses the port number 80. Okay, and see, HTTP is less secure. Actually, there is no security within HTTP. Okay, but HTTPS is the secure version of HTTP. It uses port number 443, and yes, it is due to the SSL. Okay, you can check with the log sign. You will get this kind of a notification there. That is the connection is secure. If you click on this log, connection is secure. Means whatever you are communicating within this website or web page is secure, encrypted. Means if any hacker will grab these packets from you, he will not understand what you are sending. Okay, because your data is encrypted. This is the first thing. Now, if you click on this, you will get the certification detail here. Here's the certification detail. If you click on this, you will get all the details about the public key, private key, what kind of encryption this website is using. You can see that they are using SHA-256. It's secure hash algorithm for maintaining the integrity. They are using SHA-256-bit encryption. You will go to the details. You can find more on that, like what kind of encryption they are using. You can check here on the bottom side. Maybe they are using RSA, or let me check. Let me check. No, Google has changed, I think. Let me check what they are using. Yes, they are using PKCS. It's a new kind of a thing, PKCS for RSA, with the RSA encryption. Okay, so encryption is done by the RSA, and for integrity, they are using SHA-256. Okay, for integrity is about hashing actually, data hashing. Okay, for hashing, they are using SHA, secure hash algorithm. And for encryption, they are using RSA. RSA is a kind of encryption technique. With the help of that, basically, they are encrypting our data. Okay, from server to us and from us to server. Okay, so RSA, they are actually three mathematicians, Evans. I think R for Ribest, S for Shamir, and Ad for Adliman. These are the three guys who created this kind of encryption, actually, RSA. Okay, so there are so many different encryption methods are available. The RSA, MD5, and so many others actually. Okay, so it means this website communication is totally secure. Now, what is my point? Why I am elaborating it to you? As I told you, like most of the time, the HTTPS is example of TCP actually. Okay, and most of the time the websites which are accepting the user credential or which are doing any kind of a financial transaction events, they usually used this kind of a log sign, means the SSL. Always remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, the purpose of that is for securing the channels. Okay, securing the things. And if any website, this is a normal user, part of user training, if any website is not using HTTPS, means the website is on HTTP, and they're asking you for user credential or some sensitive data, you should not share within that website because it is unsafe. Okay, your data can get compromised. Okay, so you should avoid it. Okay, so this is how things are working around us. So we that is the role of protocols, man. Okay, if any
Yeah.
website is on HTTPS, means it's secure, it's safe to use, and if any website is on HTTP, it is quite unsafe. Oh, because data will transmit in the clear text. Okay, so that is the idea. Is it clear, Ivan?
Yes. Yeah. Very much. Very good.
Okay. So this is the difference between connectionless oriented and connection oriented. Okay. So yeah, nothing is, you can't, partial, make partiality between them. Both are the
So
important protocol, and we use both of them. Yes, Evans.
so
Tell me.
when you are discussing about this, like in the interview, you can just summarize it to
Uh-huh.
either connection oriented or connectionless oriented, or you can just stick to the protocols UDP and TCP, right? All this other one SPX and Apple talk. You don't need to
Uh,
explain.
yes, yeah, don't mention them. See, always remember that about the interview, there is a tip from my side. No one, never exaggerate your knowledge. Don't, you will get trapped.
Yeah,
If you are answering unnecessarily, you will get trapped. If you will say Apple Talk datagram, they will ask you a question related to this.
yeah,
Correct?
correct.
Then you need to have the deep knowledge of. Always see, answering in the interview is a trick. And what I usually follow this thing. Okay. And I can give you the tip. Like, let's say you have a good knowledge of TCP and a person asks you about the TCP. Don't answer too much. Just say TCP. And why I'm saying this? You have good knowledge of TCP. If you answer partially, the next question will be on the same. Okay.
Uh,
He will ask you again a question on TCP, and you have a good knowledge, you can answer that. Correct.
correct.
So always, see, you should plan your interview yourself. Always remember that. Never show unnecessarily knowledge there. Whatever they ask you, just answer within that. Don't go outside of that. And try to frame the next question by yourself. That is a trick, as I told you. What will be the next question? It depends on you, actually, frankly speaking.
Yeah,
Okay, it's depend on the yes, it depends on you actually. What will be the next question? So answer like that. The person will ask you again about that. Okay, let's say interviewer have, let's say he decided I will ask 10 questions to the guy. Okay, interviewer have, because they have only, they are in hurry. They will not ask you too much. They will, let's say he generally asks 10 questions. He asked one question, you answer, he will move to the second. Or maybe you were not able, let's say there is a candidate who is not able to answer the first question, second, third, he will stop the interview. Correct? Because first impression is last impression. If you do not have the basic knowledge, you will be thrown out. Correct? But he question you, you answer. Second question will be level up. He will ask you something, level up. Third, fourth, the interviewer go like this. Okay. Now, what is my point? You should spoil this number 10, means still number 10. You should decide what should be the next. And how it is possible? Answer very cleverly. Be specific. Okay. Be specific. Don't go with the extra, Yes, I'm not saying, I'm not saying like you should represent your knowledge, no problem with that. But don't go too much far. And don't touch those things,
that
which you
you
can't explain in detail. Okay. See,
okay.
avoid those words. Let's say you are not good with the Linux. Just think about it. Okay. You're not good with the Python, let's say. Never named it within the interview. If you named it, the person will ask you from the question. Next question will be from the Python, actually. Okay. Always
Okay.
remember that. Very cleverly, you need to move towards the interview. You need to plan your interview yourself. You need to guide the interviewer according to you, not by him. If you will go with according to him, you will never select it. It's my clear words. If you're going towards like that, like him, you will not crack the interview, because he will, see, let's say I'm an interviewer, Evans. I asked you question one and you answered it very well. What I will do with the second? I will go with the toughest one, isn't it?
Yeah, you go to the
And
next
let's say you answered the second one as well, as because I am the interviewer. It's about the ego as well, as, isn't it?
one.
So
Yeah,
I will try to let you down. I will answer. I will question you. The third one will be more toughest. Correct.
correct.
And
Right.
if you answer the third one as well as very good manner, I will ask the fourth one more toughest. So
Yeah.
see, yeah, it's a kind of a game. Interview is a kind of a game. Okay, you should be specific. Whatever he asks, just answer within the words. Most one or two line extra, but cleverly. Do not mention something like that you don't know or you don't have idea. Even with the CVs as well, as within your CVs, do not mention unnecessarily things. People, what usually I found with the candidates, they create CV of 2-3 pages unnecessarily. They mention so many things there. See, just think about it. You're trapping yourself actually. Okay. The unnecessary point, if you mention something and you don't have much more idea on that, they will ask you and you will not answer. What will happen? Obviously, you will get rejected.
That's
Correct.
true.
So always, yeah, you should be go little bit, cleverly here actually in this point. So what your question was, you are saying like what should you use? See, if interviewer asking you about the type of protocol, then do not use TCP UDP directly. First go with the connection oriented and connection less oriented. Define them and give the example as well as means with connection oriented only say TCP, and with connection less oriented only say UDP and IP. Don't use SPX and AppleTalk datagram. Otherwise, discussion will be go towards the next level. Okay,
Yeah.
SPX is, yeah, it is something that is different, and Apple Talk Datagram is something that is more different actually. The platform will be changed and everything. Okay, so don't mess up, with these things. Okay, so answer
But
it like that and stick on TCP/IP because we major work is on TCP/IP. Okay, we usually use the TCP/IP. That is the idea. Okay, so that is why. So sometimes we need to go with a specific one. Okay, we need to go with the specific. Yes, yeah, but you see, what I generally found, I always elaborate my knowledge there, where I found interviewer is less knowledgeable as comparison of me. Okay, sometimes it happens when you like, let's say, even it's a fact. Let's say you have a good experience in your field. Sometime what I found, I'm giving interview, and I found a person on the other end who's taking my interview. He is not good. He is not good with the knowledge as comparison of me, like me. So on that occasion, if you found something like that, on that time, you can elaborate and explain the blunder of knowledge to him. He will be flattered because
yeah, I think yeah,
he will understand. Yeah.
I think if you know if you realize that the
Mhm.
interviewer if you realize the interviewer have less knowledge, and then
Yeah,
you want to show you try to show off more knowledge. I think it's
exactly. Yeah,
it's
just try
challenging.
to be.
That will be
Yeah, it's a
challenging
kind
to
of
the it
respect.
can be challenging to the interviewer
Mhm.
and can make you fail.
See, if but it is when you are actually good with the knowledge. I'm saying not like that. If you are actually good with the not at the fresher level. But see, and what is my experience actually? I interview, I give interview so many places. Like I have 15 plus year of experience. Sometime I found a person who is only 3 4 year experience, and he is taking my interview. Correct.
Yeah,
Okay. So just think about it. He has only 3 4 year of experience. I have 10 or 12 or 15 years of experience. So obviously my knowledge is definitely will be better than him. Correct.
yeah,
So whenever I'm saying in this case, when so you found the person is less knowledgeable from you, okay, it looks like he is not so comfortable or he is even not good with the explanation, his explanation, even though he is interviewer, means then you can be dominant within that interview. But generally, yes, but not I'm saying like that. It should be in polite manner. Okay,
I
if,
get
if
it.
if you are aggressive or something like that, obviously he will not, he will reject you or something like that. Okay, so that is the idea. But yes, my personal experiences. Sometime I found the people who have less knowledge, they are taking interview because they are knowledgeable within their organization, but not comparison of you or
That's
comparison
true.
of me. So yes, sometimes it happens actually in the industry. Like right now, you are a new guy in this field, but after a few years, you will find this kind of a environment as well. So that is why I'm giving you this kind of an interview tip. So always try to be, frame your interview by yourself. Means you need to guide the interviewer. Where should he go? What kind of a question he should ask? So as I told you, like let's say he's asking you about the TCP. Okay, just say TCP. Okay, just explain all about the TCP and take the name of UDP slightly. Don't
Yeah,
elaborate it. Don't elaborate the UDP. He asked you TCP. So answer TCP very clearly. And end of the answer, just name the UDP. Why I'm saying this? The next question will be on UDP.
UDP.
Okay.
I get it.
Yes, correct. Now, just try to grab my point, what I'm saying. So,
I get
see,
it.
obviously, he will ask you. The next question will be obviously on UDP. He will ask you. And because you know the UDP, just answer the UDP. Okay. So, taking the term's name is something very important. See, generally, candidates got failed because they are running according to the interviewer. That is the problem. Just think about it. Interviewer is taking the 100 people's interview in a day. Okay. He's supposed to go for the rejections. He need to reject 90
Mhm.
people in a day. Correct. So you need to plan your interview yourself. You need to guide that person according to you, according to your knowledge. And don't take any terms, or don't name any term which you don't have a knowledge about them, like, and never mess with them unnecessarily. Like sometimes people exaggerate and they try to exaggerate their knowledge, like, I know the Python, also I know the C++, I know the oops concept, I know I am very good with the Linux. Why? You don't need to say like this. If interviewer required it, he will ask you why you're pinching him. Okay, and you are pinching that thing, and he will ask you something in deep, and you will not able to answer. He will insult you.
Yeah,
Correct. He will insult you as well as reject you. So don't go with the, like, never exaggerate things. Never, go with the specific. He will be satisfied. Okay. And as I told you, because it's about the number of questions, interviewer don't have the entire day for you. Even he will not ask you again and again. He has decided, I will ask 8 questions. If any person who answered 6 questions, he will be selected, isn't it? So
I,
you need to pick that point. Always remember that. You need to pick that one. And the initial questions are very important. Always, like, first impression is last impression. So the earlier 1 or 2 questions are very important. Try to answer them very cleverly. Means easily. You should be try and you should try to answer them perfectly, because then the other questions will be dependent on that as well as. And this is the way how you can plan your interview by yourself. Okay, you should
yeah,
be you should not go. Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
also heard that when because the first question always be like, tell me about yourself, which in that
Yeah,
way
that is
you
okay. That is, yeah, that is it. I'm talking about
explain
the questions related to the concepts.
to the
Maybe he
job,
will ask
the
you
job.
about this. Yeah, maybe he asks you about the CIA triad, or maybe he asks you about the ransomware, let's say, or maybe about some tool. You should explain it a very well manner. Okay, a very well manner. So that, because first impression is something that is very very important. Okay, and if you answered it well, then he will go for the next conceptual question or something like that. Okay, so that is something very very important. So you should maintain that flow by yourself. Okay, you should guide that, the interviewer, like, ask me this question because I know it very well. Correct. That is the idea. So as I told you, like, naming the terms is something very important. Like, as I told you, I have given you the example. Like, if he asks you about the TCP, just explain everything about the TCP and took the name. Just take the name of UDP, in the site as well as, so that, and stop the answer. So what will happen? Next question will be on UDP. Okay, it is something like planning the interview for yourself. Okay,
Great.
so this is how basically most of the time people failed. I can give you the reason for that events. But see, most of the time people got failed. Two, three things. For first reason is attitude. Okay, sometimes with the wrong attitude, these things are, or your vocal style or your speaking style. Due to that, sometime even sometime interviewer misjudge you. Okay, so that is something very important. Second
So
is, yes,
mhm.
about the CV. Like, people mention too many things within the CV. Those people also get rejected, frankly speaking, because you have mentioned everything on the CV. Okay, see, always, most of the time what people are doing exactly, in the real time world, what is the mistake here? They are, just, they have a kind of a CV format, and they are just making copy of that CV for each and every organization. Means you are going in the each and every organization with the same CV. That is a wrong act, actually. Always
Mm,
remember, according to the JD, you need to change your or update your CV. Always remember that. It should be in habit. You need to change your CV according to the company. Always remember. Let's say there is a company who is working with the vulnerability assessment. Okay, they are focusing on vulnerability. So you should change your job role and JD as well as and the other thing according to vulnerability assessment. Maybe there is a company where you are going to apply. They works on monitoring. Most of the monitoring things are. So focus on the monitoring tools. Focus on the monitoring more. Okay. So the problem with the candidates is they are not updating their CVs. accordingly. First thing is
Yeah,
that
yeah. With that,
they have placed unnecessarily things
yeah,
within the
with that
CV.
too.
That
With
is the
that
problem.
too. Yeah, with that, it's a little bit hard to control. If you are applying directly to the company website,
Mhm.
then you can map your CV to the job description. But most of the time, is
Exactly,
most of the time your CV is with the recruiters. The recruiters are trying to market you. They
exactly.
already have your one CV that they use.
That is
So
okay.
they,
That is, but if you remember, like if you have placed your CV somewhere at the platform, if you
Mhm.
got the call, they will not consider the previous CV. They ask you to share your updated CV. Why
um,
they told you like that?
yeah, that's
Because
true.
they want, yes, that is the reason. Because they want even you to update your CV according to their job role.
Yeah,
That is the
that's
logic. Correct. So that is the point. So always, update your CV according to the job requirement. That will be impressive. That this thing can connect you with that company actually. Okay. So most of the time people are doing, this wrong stuff actually. And that is a bad practice actually. Having CV like, a number of pages that even you see, if I have 15 plus of year of experience, but I know I have not more than of, like 3 pages CV, I think, not more than of that actually. I usually use 3 pages of CV, not more than of that. And believe me, I have more work experience, but I didn't mention few of the companies here actually.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, so it's having, these things should be synchronized or comprised. No one have time to, go over through your CV. If you have 4 or 5 pages CV, they do not have time. Correct. So that is the idea. So always have some, the specific one. And I always update, let's say, I have a kind of a client call or something like that, and they required my CV for any specific training. I usually change the things. Okay. Like if there is if there is a thing, there's a company who's looking for the vulnerability assessment, I will change this description part. That is the
yeah,
idea. Okay. I will focus on those things. Correct. So that is the point. So means we need to update our CV accordingly. Always remember that. Okay. We need to go that, towards so that we can relate with that company, that organization. That is something very important. And one more thing about the jobs is, even it's about the having the spirit, like first of all they are looking like you are a good human resource or not, you know so your attitude, your approach, and your intent to do job, that is something very important. If you have these things, then you will move, they will go continue with you actually. Okay, so these are something very important, and
yeah.
then knowledge.
Do you think the way you dress on the interview matters? Does that
Yeah,
matter?
exactly. It matters. It matters basically. Yes, sometime, in the normal day, whatever you want, you can wear, you can go with the funky look. But yeah, in the interviews, yeah, you should wear the formals. It reflects like you are a kind of a responsible person, you know, even, that like in a USA culture, a UK culture, what I found, especially in the USA, I found like people do not bother about the dressing sense during the interviews, what I found. But the in the UK culture or Indian culture, basically we usually consider the dressing sense as well, as especially because it reflects like how sincere you are exactly. It doesn't matter you are sincere. Okay, it's not about that. But if you dressed well, yes, the interviewer consider yourself, yes, he's a kind of a genuine guy, he's here for the interview. Just think about it, there are 5 people for the same job role, and all 4 have the funky looks, and you wear you are well dressed and everything is good. That is something very important. Okay,
Right.
so yes, dressing sense is something very, very important, especially the shoes. Okay, shoes and whatever you're wearing means it should be neat and clean, in the well decorum. That is something very, very. Having pen in the interviews, it's a basic thing. You are a candidate. You should have a pen. You should carry a pen along with you. That these are some few points basically that reflects that you are sincere. You are here to do job. Okay, so these things are also important. So we should consider these stuffs. These are small things, but see, even the selection of word is something that is also very important. I got rejected in an interview after, you will not believe. I think I had on that time I had 3 4 year of experience. That was my earlier stage of the career, in a company that is actually British Telecom, and I interviewed there. I gave interviews the first round, and I gave interview in a perfect manner. The conceptual knowledge, they asked me about some telecommunications, networking questions. I have given the answers, Gibbons, but you will not believe I got rejected. Okay. And I was stuck. I said, I am an experienced guy. Other people were fresher actually. And I was the experienced guy. And it is a kind of a setback for me. Now, then I asked them for the feedback. Okay. I asked them for the feedback. I was like, what is the reason? I answered well and everything was good. Why you reject me? Okay. So first they, they just want to skip me, but I insist them for, then there was one of the guy from the HR came to me and he said, means they asked me about the previous job role as well. So actually I uses I word again and again there. So what they determine with that, they said I am not a team player.
What
Just
the?
think about it. Yes, it's a nonsense. That's why I told you, like interviewer can think anything about you. He can judge you at any parameter. And they're saying you said I many times. And yes, it was a fact actually. I said I many times, but to say, see, they said, they judge means they judge me that I am not a team player, so how I can work. Okay. And they rejected me on the basis of this reason. I was good with the knowledge. I was good with the experience. And British Telecom is not a kind of a small company. It's, I was struck down that time. It was a kind of a setback for me. That's why, I always said like interview, see, no one can take guarantees of selection in the interviews. Always remember that. Even you have experience, even you do not have the experience. Interview is something, different actually, and that is the day of that particular, for the particular day is something that is different actually. So they rejected me on the basis of I forgot the I then after. I never used I in the interviews actually. I usually called like, I because see in the networking actually we work as a team actually. Okay, we work as a team. So after that interview, I wherever I give the interview, I usually use the word we. Okay. Like we
Yeah.
work like that and like that. I never said you. Actually, they were asking me about the job role, my job role or job responsibility, and what kind of a work I do there for the. I was in Tech Mahindra actually, so they were asking me like that. So I answered it like and I do there like that. I, and they said okay, thank you. Okay. So means I should use we there actually. So these are some small points. Interviewer can screw you at any point. It could be dressing sense, it could be any kind of a nonsense thing for you. So interview is something else. It totally dependent on the person who is taking your interview you know Sometimes
Yeah.
you found the interviewer is your classmate or your senior from your high school. Maybe you got selected without any question. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is also a possibility. you know so interview is something that is a suspicious thing, man. Okay, but yeah, you see, these things are something that is you need to be noted, like you need to note these things. These are key points, small points, but something very important for the interviews. Okay, so prepare like that basically. Okay, knowledge is, yes, knowledge is something that is very important, even it is a fact. Okay, you need to have good knowledge, but along with the knowledge, you need to have some basic ethics. You need to know about the interview and all. Okay, that is the point. Okay, we will discuss these things as well as later on as well as. Okay,
Yeah. Very important.
yeah. Now move towards the network part. So two elements usually used here in the networking, and one is the server, and second one is the client. Okay, and server and clients, both the elements are very important. Okay, and always remember that like server are supposed to serve. Okay, server are supposed to serve, and clients are expecting services from the server. Okay, so that is the idea. Now the point is server is a kind of a centralized element which provides resources to their client. Okay, like if you are accessing any website events, actually you are accessing web server. Like if you are looking for the Google, you are accessing the Google server actually. Okay, that is the point. The other thing is like not only we are only having, we do not have only the web servers. There are some different kind of servers are also available. We have DNS server, we have AD, we have DHCP. There are so many services are available. Okay, you need to have little bit awareness about them as well as like different kind of server. I will elaborate this thing to you in the next session actually, because it's a little bit explanatory kind of a thing. Like how many server like what kind of a server about the servers, like web server.
Um,
Have you heard about web server?
yeah, everybody know web server.
Okay. Okay, except that other servers like.
I don't know about anyone on server. Just know
Okay, Ibn. See, why we require this knowledge? It's not about the configuring them. It's not about the configuration. Actually, it's only about the having knowledge, like what kind of a server provided what kind of a service. Because securing the asset, whenever you are securing the network and the assets, basically you need to have the awareness about them, basically how server works and all. Okay, so we will explain this thing by tomorrow. By tomorrow's session, we will little bit cover about the servers. Okay, like what kind of a network architecture. See, I will describe you the network architecture of an organization actually, like what kind of a network an organization can have, what kind of a element will be there. Okay, so I will try to explain that thing to you so that you will be familiar with that. Okay, so then that will be helpful. Like the firewall are there, IPS, IDS are there, and so many things are there. Okay, so I will explain these things to you by tomorrow's session. Okay, and we will do this system by tomorrow. I think that is enough for today's. Okay, so just retake this session. I have shared few links with you, Evans. Just go through of them. Okay, just follow the things and step by step just grab these knowledge so that see, the only thing, it's like why we need to explore the knowledge. There is a reason, even even like whenever you are answering something, if you have a knowledge, good knowledge, you know so you there will be a different kind of a confidence while giving you the when you are answering something. Okay, like if someone is asking server and you have a good knowledge, like what kind of a server are available, so whenever you will answer, there will be a confidence within your answer. And the interviewer always looks for that, those kind of guys who have good knowledge, who have so they can there could be a jumble there, but they can fix it. But they are looking for the guys who explore more actually, right? So I will elaborate this thing to you by tomorrow, where we will learn about the servers, little bit about the networking, more like what kind of a networks usually used by the corporates. Okay, so
Yeah.
we will try to create that kind of a scenario by tomorrow. Okay, so that is the idea. Okay, so Gibbons, any question for me for today?
No, I think it was a good class today. No questions for now. We're good.
Okay, well, just retake the session. If there will be any doubt, just take a note of that and ask me in the next session. Next session. Okay.
Great, great. I'm glad that you took this class from. I'm glad that you took the class from the basics. Man, it's very good.
Uh-huh. Yes, even that's why. See, the learning of the cybersecurity is about tools, frankly speaking, and uses of tools is very easy. It's about only using the tools. Just take the tool and just go with the inspection. That is enough. But if you don't know about the what is UDP, what is TCP, what is TLS, what is the web server, what is the FTP server, just think about it. How you will secure the asset? Just think about it. So the basic, always remember that basic knowledge is something that is very, very important. If you have the basic knowledge, you can explore anywhere. You can explore anywhere. Okay. But if the basic is not good, then you will be stuck with your career. Always remember that. Okay.
That's
So
true.
that is something very important. Okay. So let's meet tomorrow and we will explain, we will go with the more explanations and more things. Okay.
All right. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
That's okay. Bye bye. Good night.